a broader perspective. Public Affairs segment, giving the masses a grasp of informative, educative, and entertaining updates on current issues while guiding them to follow the latest development in the society. In TV, a broader perspective.
Alright, you welcome to Public Affairs segment, and today we are going to look at the protest carried out by Oro Nation. They're complaining about marginalization, and they tag this protest "Enough is enough." So you want to hear from them, what is enough? What can't you take any more that you have to embark on this protest? We have today in the studio a set of people that are the leaders, the people that led in the protest. We have Barrister Lovestic Esu. He is the convener of Oro Youth Congress. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And next to the president is Omen Basi. He is the spokesperson. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And also Victor Mbofo, president, Oro Youth Movement. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, you embarked on, you call it a peaceful protest, and you tagged it "Enough is enough." What was the protest about?
Anyway, it was in 2012 that the National Assembly passed a resolution and recognizing Oro, the 5 local government of Oro, Mbo, Udonwoko, Urefon, Ruku, Oro local government, and Okowo, recognizing them as oil producing. Okay. Thereafter, they sent that resolution to the National Executive Council, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation then was mandated by the Presidency to write a covering letter mandating the Akwa State to implement the resolutions of the National Assembly. Okay. And unfortunately, since 2012 to this 2020, this is 8 years precisely, the state government has not done anything. That letter came in when His Excellency Chief Dr. Gosola Fabio was executive governor. It wasn't even in His Excellency William's tenure. Up to this very moment, we've not heard anything. Okay. We tried our little best to reach out to the government. All was abortive. You know now, he that is down, he no fear no fall. So we resolve.
So you are down already?
Yeah.
Okay, the spokesperson. The president has said that he has made any effort to reach out to the government. Now, what have you done? Have you had any dialogue with the government, whether on a very official ground or unofficial ground?
Well, let me add that, because somebody can be tempted to think that this problem started in 2012 based on what he has said. Mm-hmm. You know, this problem started over 50 years ago.
50?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the entire 5 local entities of Oro Nation, you know, as a host to Mobile in particular, came to Oro immediately after the Civil War, so you can count, you know, and our benefits should have started the day they started production. But from that time till that 2012, in fact, the motion moved by Robert Sowa in 2012 was as a result of the constant agitation by the people. So this agitation has been there, the State Minister of Environment has been engaging with our people, but all they've been trying to do is this divide and rule method of just isolating a few influential individuals in the community, give them some peanuts and believe that with that, the whole community is settled. So it has been building up for many years until 2012 when Honorable Uwak moved that motion on the floor of the National Assembly of the Federal House of Representatives. And the House did not sit down there and pass that resolution. They mandated 5 committees: Committee on Environment, Committee on Niger Delta Affairs, Committee on NEDC, Committee on Petroleum Upstream, and Committee on Special Duties to treat the matter. So those committees came to Oro physically. They hired boats, hired helicopters, went down the seas, went through the land to see for themselves what we were talking about. So at the end of the day, they went back and turned in their report. In fact, the head of the delegation was then Honorable Ward, now Senator Uche Egulife. She described what she saw as seeing a conquered people. She says she never knew that there were a conquered people in Nigeria. They never knew it. So the agitation has been building up since that time. Now, the truth is this about communication with government. It is not possible for government not to be aware of where it derives its resources. The state government is aware that the bulk of the resources that makes the state the #1 operating state in Nigeria comes from the Oro waters. So now, at the time that the House of Reps passed the resolution, of course, it was a newsworthy event. The news was everywhere, and the federal government followed up by sending a letter. So for 8 years, we've been waiting to hear from government. So it wasn't us to not ask government to communicate. It was government to communicate. Say, okay, we have received this letter. This is what we have done. Or if we are even seeing action, we will know that that action is in line with the resolution. So we've not heard a word from government and we have not seen action. So the protest, as I said, it was a peaceful protest. No property was destroyed, no life was lost, nobody was injured. So we are still at a level where we want to dialogue with government. So since we are not in government, our own way of telling government that we want to dialogue with you, what we want to hear from you, was what we did yesterday, and that's why we're here too.
Okay, who made up the team for the dialogue? Should give that to the president of Oro Youth Movement.
Okay, all the youths, and let me use the word, all the youths in Oro Nation, the women, the elders, and all concerned Oro people that knew or that are not afraid of being named as anti-government.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean now. There are people who are very much interested. They want to be part of it, but they don't want to be named. They don't want to sell their face. They don't want to be named as anti-government, but they are from Oro. So every Oro person was part of it. The market remained. That was why the market was closed down. Not that the government ordered them to close it down. Not that anybody ordered them. But they have to abandon that market for that day to be part of the protest. The Cyclist Union say they are not going to carry anybody that yesterday because they want to be part of that protest. So every other groups of Oro people were part of the protest.
Okay, when we're in a political environment, you can suspect anything can happen. This protest is politically motivated.
It's quite unfortunate that we tend to politicize everything. If you look at what happened yesterday, go through all the placards, we've not talked anything about the governor, His Excellency. We've not attacked the governor.
Well, you don't need to say anything about the government.
We only appeal to the state government to implement the resolutions. That was what we did. So whoever attached political undertones to it is there for that person to interpret.
Now, if you listen to what he said, the protest yesterday involved really the totality of Oro Nation. And the last election happened barely 1 year ago. And if you go by the result of the election, the PDP won in Oro Nation. And the federal government is APC, and the state government is PDP. And we are protesting both against, even though the federal government has sent a letter, but we still believe that NDC is a federal government agency.
Yes.
Minister of Indigenous Affairs is the federal government ministry, the Akwa state government. So which party is sponsoring us now? Because PDP is state and APC is federal. So there's nobody sponsoring us. There's no election in 2020. So who is sponsoring us? There's no political direction to what we are doing. We are talking about survival. Because we are well dressed, you sit down in this air conditioned studio and all that, so you don't know what's going out there. If you step out, Oro, and you see youth who graduated with 2-1 in the last 20 years and they are jobless, you know why they are angry. And they are angry because they know that if they were allowed to benefit from what God has given them, that they will also be high flyers in this state and nation. So what we are talking about is a people who have been pushed to the wall, people who know that they are blessed and yet very poor.
Okay, so what was this protest for? Can you tell in clear terms, in black and white, what you hope to achieve? Okay.
God has given us these resources. See, let us be very frank here. When God created everybody and every community, God knows why He makes some people majority. They use their majority to have their political powers because they use their majority to press other people down. And if you look at it critically, God gives the minority groups resources so that by the resources they can also match the political strength of the majority groups.
Okay.
You understand? And God knows why he located the Oro people where we are presently located. And God knows why He brought us that far and gave us all those resources. Now, we have been so peaceful. We have been so peaceful. You see, it was this issue of marginalization, of neglect, that brought out the issue of militancy in the Niger Delta region. And that was when the federal government now said, these are the regions that are giving us oil. And the same thing that happened in the Niger Delta region that Nigeria as a nation did to Niger Delta is what the Akwa Ibom state government is doing to Oro. But we have been peaceful. Like we say, for the past 50 years, 50 good years, Oro has been silent, has been peaceful. So now we are not begging, we are not on our knees. We are only saying, okay, after all these years, we have tried everything. Now, in 2012, the National Assembly, that is the representation of all this country, came to say, these people have been so marginalized. Why? Now, because of this contraption called Akwa Ibom State, which we are part of, implement it, and they have refused. So now we are saying, implement it. We are not asking for anything. We are saying implement that with the Nigerian nation. Because when you talk about the Nigerian nation, it is the National Assembly. Everybody says go there and take a decision that covers the whole country, right?
Okay, aside from this one that you are talking about, the National Assembly passing the bill and it's not being implemented by the state government, I grew up to hear Oro people complain of marginalization. And during the protest, people made several comments about debunking that, and then asked you certain questions that you should answer. That you have people in the helms of affairs in the states. Why are you complaining of this marginalization all the time?
Okay, let's go back to history. Akwa Ibom State was founded on a tripod. You've heard that before. On the tripod that involved a BBO as the first leg, the Anang as the second leg, and the Oro people as the third leg. And when this state started, during the military administration, a 5-3-2 sharing formula was introduced and entrenched. 5-3-2 means that if you are talking about 10 commissioners, the UBA will have 5, the Anang will have 3, and the Oro will have 2. And that was how the state was run. Even in Akwa Semen's time, the BBO or the government maintained that sharing formula. That was why the BBO produced the governor, the Anang produced the speaker of the state assembly, the state chairman of the ruling party, and Oro had the deputy governor. So it continued like that until Obongata became the governor, and he did his best also. The Oro, the BBO produced the governor, the Anang had the deputy governor, and the Oro had the state chairman and the speaker of the state House of Assembly. We started having problems. We started shouting marginalization when Obongosila Babio became the governor. The concept of the tripod was completely jettisoned. So in a state with over 20 commissioners, you say Oro have only 2. How did you share it for Oro, which is the third leg of the tripod, to have 2 out of more than 20? And meanwhile, there are political offices that are associated with power, and none of these offices are held or is held by another person. Because no matter how you talk about it, there are positions you occupy and you're outside government, though you're in government. It's like people talk about SSG. As far as we know, the SSG, the office of the SSG is subjoined under the office of the governor. You can't expect much from that office. So it's different from you talking about the Speaker of the State Assembly, who controls an arm of government. You can't even compare it with the station of the party, station of the ruling party. So if Oro is indeed the third largest ethnic group of the state, how do you share political offices that another man is not the governor, he is not the deputy governor, he is not the Speaker of the State Assembly, and is not the station of the ruling party? So that's the crux of this marginalization in terms of politics. And by the time you are not in these offices, it means that you don't have a say on how those who represent you are elected, because you are not in the ruling party. In fact, it's so bad that another man is not even in the state executive council of the ruling party.
Like he has told you, every segment of Oro has their own way of tackling this issue. This is our own way of tackling it, because we are calling for dialogue. In fact, right now we are expected that the authorities should say, what is happening? It's simple. It does not take the governor of this state an hour to implement that resolution. It doesn't. If it's very sensitive. I want to let the whole world know that Oro people have been pushed to the wall.
Okay, now you are peaceful in your protest. What do you expect from this protest? What's the aftermath of this protest? Is it just a one-off thing, just to express that?
No. If you listen to it, we have given the authorities, those concerned, 14 days.
Okay.
14 days.
And if they don't?
But we don't know what will be the next action.
If they don't act?
We don't know what will be the next action.
So
when we get to the bridge, we'll know how to cross it. When 14 days elapsed, we'll know how to go about it.
Let me put it more clearly. You see, staging a peaceful protest yesterday and appearing on this TV is what we that went to school can do. You know, Oro, like any other society, is in different segments.
Okay.
Those who are trained, I'm a lawyer. He's a lawyer. He also is a graduate. You know, so
your training levels of protest now.
Yes, I'm trying to
level-headed protest.
Yes, even before
next one will be
even before we embarked on this protest, we knew that there were those who are as pained as we are, but they are not capable of doing what we are doing now, and we felt that let's embark on this civilized action if government will listen. But whatever happens, because by the time we exhaust what we can do in this civilized manner, whatever happens else, it's not us. Oro is not, we are not only Oro, there are only others who are Oro.
Okay.
Yes. And that was why in the protest, at the end of the protest, almost at the end of the protest, we said we are using this protest to put the Nigerian security agencies on notice. They are security. Akwa Ibom State has been named one of the most peaceful states in this country.
Okay.
But that peace state status should not be an illusion. So we put the security agencies on notice. Tell the people in government, the chief security officers, that there are people that have been so marginalized and have been pushed to the wall. So if they don't do the needful, if anything comes out, they should not hold us responsible. Rather, they should hold themselves responsible.
Okay. In clear terms, what do you expect government to do? In clear terms, because all this what you're saying, they might say, okay, they're just protesting. What do you want government to do? List them out.
We want the government to call for roundtable discussion where that resolution is implemented. The content of that resolution contains our problems.
Okay.
So once the resolution is implemented, our problem is solved.
Okay, but while you were telling us the reason for this protest, that it didn't just happen because of the implementation of the bill, that you have other issues. You mentioned.
But let me put it more clearly. The basis of our membership of this state has to be renegotiated. Before all this problem started, the Oro person believed that he was in Akwa Ibom State on the basis of a tripodal arrangement. But before 2015, there were indications that other parts of the state were not faithful to that agreement. And in 2014, when another man was supposed to emerge as the flag bearer of the PDP, it wasn't possible, and it was clear that the tripod has been abandoned. Now, Oro does not know the basis of his membership of Akwa Ibom State. The governor of this state called a stakeholders meeting. Let us understand, let us know our stake in the state. Today, another man does not know his stake in the state. We cannot be in a state that we operate as beggars, as slaves. Let us know this is what belongs to us, so that anytime a government is formed, other will know this is my own. For now, other ethnic groups know their own. We don't know our own. So the basis is not only about oil, it's about politics, it's about economy, and it's about oil. So let a stakeholders meeting be convened and let everybody knows his stake, because you cannot belong to a family and you don't know your stake in that family. It doesn't happen anywhere. That's why when they talk about peace, I said there's no peace without justice. There's no peace without fairness.
Okay, just one last question. One last question. What do you think? What do you perceive could be the reason for this marginalization? Is there anything, any selfish interest from this? Is there anything that somebody is trying to derive from this?
It's a question we're also asking. Do you understand? Because as I said earlier,
you can perceive something different from what they perceive.
No,
see, we don't know.
We don't. We
Okay.
don't.
yes.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Lovestigesu, the convener of the protest. Thank you very much, Omen Basi, the spokesperson, and also Victor Mkpofo, the president of Oro Youth Movement, for making our time to be with us today. And I believe this protest will be on this peaceful stage. It will not migrate from this peaceful stage to a violent stage.
When the right thing is done.
When the right thing
When
is
the
done.
needful is done.
I believe the right thing will be done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for being part of this program. And I believe you'll have contribution, you'll have your own say about this thing. Is Oro Nation being marginalized according to the president, according to the spokesperson, and also according to the president's Oro Youth Movement? They have claimed that Oro has been marginalized 50 years ago. Up till now, they don't know that they are bona fide citizens of Akwa Ibom State. I hope I'm correct.
Yes.
Right.
All right, so send your contribution, send your own opinion down here, and we'll call them up to come and answer the questions. And also, we'll also like to hear from the statement from the key persons in the society in Akwa Ibom to know if Oro is being marginalized, as being said by these people. Thank you very much for being part of this. My name is still Blessing Ambrose.
Public Affairs segment, giving the masses a grasp of informative, educative, and entertaining updates on current issues while guiding them to follow the latest development in the society. In TV, a broader perspective.